Hello goblins, it's Chris, Eldritch Pipes. It's an episode of this week's Pipes. Coming to you from the Arctic. It's cold. It has been cold this week. Yesterday was especially cold. Today is still really cold, but maybe not quite as bad as yesterday. And hopefully should be a bit better tomorrow. What am I doing? What am I up to? Oh yes, I'm smoking. Former's cross grain flake. Lovely present from Travis Fahey. One day, Travis, you'll tell me how to pronounce your surname so that I'll get it right. Fahey. It is a it is a Virginia with a sprinkle of Perique. It's very nice. It reminds me quite a lot of Solani Silverflake, which I also like. In my tobacco journey, I am very firmly in the vapor camp right now. I've almost completely dispensed with Latakia blends for the time being. I love them, but I'm just not going to them. I'm really going, well, as from last week, Haddo's Delight, Tilbury, RDF, that's got some dark fired in, hasn't it? But really nothing with Latakia in at all at the moment. I wonder if that will change when spring starts to come. But for now, no Latakia, just not calling to me. Tomorrow I'm off to London, to the theatre, darling. I don't know how many of you guys might watch Stranger Things, but in the UK, we're doing Stranger Things stage show, Welcome to Hawkins, I think that's right. And it's like it's like Hawkins like 20 years earlier. So with obviously there's none of the young cast there, young characters there, but a young Hopper and I think a young Joyce, because they're all lived there all their lives, haven't they? Really looking forward to it. Amazing reviews. This week I've mostly been watching Jeeves and Wooster. Don't know how many of you people are familiar with the stories, but I am a Woodhouse fan, and some decades ago, Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie did 4 series of Jeeves and Wooster, and they're amazing. Just amazing. And I hadn't watched them in quite some time, quite a few years, and I just discovered them again. And I'm in season 2 now. If you like Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, obviously they had their amazing series, A Bit of Fry and Laurie, but the Woodhouse stuff is just great. It's like stress-free humorous TV. Alright. Oh, and I've also been... This is Steph and the Boys' influence. I've been watching The Traitors, which is interesting. Quite dramatic. It's like a game show where you've got to figure out who the traitors are, funnily enough. There are some characters on there. It's amusing. Anyway, let me just put this tobacco to one side. Oh, yeah. Just to look at the flake block. That's the cross-grain flake. Wonderful. In the tin smells of sweet raisins. Really quite pronounced sweetness. All right. I've got 2 pipes to show you this week. And they're both quite different. Different from each other. And certainly one I've only ever made one of before. And one is a different version of a pipe style that I've made in the past. So let's have a look. This is a sleek Bulldog, and it's a design based off an Eldritch design. That's the brand name. Unfortunately, the name of the pipe carver eludes me at the moment, but his designs are very attractive. And normally, I'm not really a fan of the Bulldog shape, but when I saw this many years ago, I was like, wow, if ever I do one, that's the style that appeals to me. This kind of like low slung affair with a nice, like, subtle S curve in it. Really like that. Just like the low slung bowl. I put a little curve on this bowl rather than doing a straight. Some like do a straight taper. That didn't work for me, so I've got a rounded bowl on the top of mine. But when you see it from the top or the bottom, you'll see the kind of like subtle Eskimo influence. I can put that down. There's a little Eskimo influence. As you can see, the shank doesn't go straight into the bowl straight, but like tapers in from the bowl width down, which is a really nice look. And also, like, that's the nice detail on this. So you get this because of the. I'm trying to think what other Bulldog I might have lying around. I don't know if this is a common feature now on Bulldogs because I don't make them usually. So, but obviously you get the panels running into the shank, into the stem, from the shank into the stem, and then the taper from the stem, then causing a third facet. I just love that. That sort of triangle design. It's a very pleasing. Very pleased. I will say I did not enjoy making it. I don't enjoy making these at all. But the finished pipe is very rewarding. So yeah, so like, you know, you've got your lines literally running into into the bowl, which is, I think, not quite usual, because normally the shank comes to a point and then the bowl. Do you know what? I don't know how Bulldog shanks run into their bowls normally. I must have seen a million of them, but because it's not a shape I'm interested in, I haven't really studied them. I don't have one. I don't think I've ever bought one. Anyway, it's quite a challenge on this shape cutting the rings because it's so close to the shank. I had to cut a special bit to cut the rings. And then sandblasting is interesting because that's a very delicate. The ring is very delicate. I think they call it the bead or the ring, and you don't want that getting sandblasted away, so that gets covered up while I blast the rest of the pipe, and then uncover the bead and just do a quick sandblast, a light sandblast, because it's so thin it's quite vulnerable. The other part to mention is that I did a custom colour resin for this one. It's very attractive. It's more yellow on screen here. This camera likes to, it really amps yellow, I think. So it's less, it's not as saturated as the colour appears here. It's a little more subdued, I would say, is the real life colour. But sleek Bulldog. Pretty. What have I got here? It's a Mandra Goro root. Now, I've made quite a few Mandra Goro roots in the past, and they're generally quite large pipes. They're quite stocky, bulky affairs, usually. I had a desire to do a slimline version, and so this is kind of the result. And so you have kind of like the bark spiraling around the bowl, spiraling around the shank. A little subtle sandblast just to take some of the dark stain back, and then that gets a light green top coat. The spirals go through to the shank and down to the shank end, and then rusticated stem, obviously continuing the spiral motif. In Moss Cumberland. Again, not as vibrant on screen as it is in real life. That's like acid green. It's not like that in real life. But anyway, so Mandra Goro root, slimline version. What ho? And I don't know where that idea came from. It just did. It came to me. I felt that the stem should bulge, kind of concerningly. So it does. As if swelling or something. I don't know. But anyway, There we go. And I like this version. I like this kind of like, I won't call it featherweight, but it is much lighter. This is about 58 grams. So, depending on what you're, I think like 50 grams is normally the like clench limit. But if you're used to clenching, you might be able to clench this. 58 isn't really terribly heavy at all, but so it is light overall for a pipe. But it's not, you know, it's not an acorn. All right, that's this week's pipes. Oh, I'm looking forward to getting past January, I don't mind telling you, as long as it warms up a bit. We're in the throes of trying to arrange a pipe makers meetup, and the other guys don't know it, but I'm planning on doing a video with us all together. Did one many moons ago with our first meetup, and I'm looking forward to doing another one, and that'll be good fun. But that's probably going to be around March time. But I should imagine I'm going to be back next week with more pipes, all being well. So until next time, take it very easy. Your loyal pipe maker.